Today we're going to get the chickens an assortment of lots of healthy and delicious treats right from my own backyard. So we're up in the garden and it's looking a little bit rough after Hurricane Debbie came through. We live in Maryland, so luckily we didn't get hit quite as bad as some of the other states. But we got a ton of rain, some of the hardest rain I've ever heard in my life. And we got a little bit of wind, but other than that, we made out pretty well. And prior to getting all that rain, we had experienced an extremely hot and very dry summer. So yeah, it's looking a bit rough up here. But there's still plenty to pick, and the chickens won't mind if things don't look quite perfect. And that way nothing will go to waste. So we're gonna start with this black oil sunflower. You can see it is at the end of its life. It already bloomed, it's done, it's dried up. And you can see here, let me zoom in. These are all of the seeds. So if you wanted to, you could save the seeds and replant them, but I already have plenty of seeds to plant for next year. So I'm gonna give this to the chickens. You can just really gently brush away this layer on top to reveal the seeds, or you can leave it and let your chickens do that. That'll give them some extra foraging and extra mental stimulation. Black oil sunflower seeds are rich in protein, so they're a really good treat, especially when they're molting or when they're young and growing. The oils in it help their skin and their feathers stay healthy, and it makes their feathers really, really shiny. And they're also filled with vitamins and minerals, very high in vitamin E. Now, black oil sunflower seeds are also high in fat, so make sure this is only given as an occasional treat. Another edible flower is the zinnia. People can eat these too, but I've heard they taste pretty bitter, so I've never tried them myself. I sell flower arrangements, and I just got another order for some, so I'm gonna leave the prettier ones for my customer, and I'll pick some of the older ones off for the chickens. And like I said, they won't mind at all. They can also have squash and zucchini. This is actually a golden zucchini. It's called Gold Rush. Eating summer squash is kind of like taking a handful of vitamins. They are packed with so many vitamins and minerals. They're so nutritious, they're so good for you. And when your chickens are eating healthy things, it's going to make their eggs healthier for you. You can see I also have some cantaloupe that's getting close to being ripe. It's starting to get the ribbing on it. Once it turns tan and you can start smelling that trademark cantaloupe smell, you know it's ready to be picked. So these aren't quite there yet, but we'll keep an eye on it because they can change fast. But when they are ready, the chickens really love them. Now we're in the watermelon patch. And you can see I have some Congo watermelon growing. They're a little bit behind. If you've been following my channel, you know that we had a really, really rough growing season. This spring was incredibly wet and cold and windy, so it was really hard to get the little seedlings to work. And then once summer hit, it hit hot and dry, and it was horrible. So the plants have been struggling, so we're a bit behind, but we finally have a bunch of them going now. The Congo watermelon get really large, so these aren't ready yet. I do have some red seedless though. And the chickens love watermelon. It's a great hydrating treat on a hot summer day. Rich in vitamins, high in potassium. They contain electrolytes, so they're really excellent during the summer for your chickens. Another great summer treat for your chickens is cucumbers. Just like watermelon, they are also rich in water, of course, and electrolytes. So it's a great way to help your chickens bounce back when it's a really hot and humid day. This is a pickling variety, so that's why it's on the smaller side. But I'm also growing the slicing variety, which gets longer. They're typically smoother. And yes, the chickens can have both varieties, and they enjoy both of them just as much. A lot of cucumbers. Whoa! You can also pick peppers for your chickens. Did you know that peppers have 3 times more vitamin C than an orange? So it's great for their immune systems. And purple vegetables have more antioxidants than traditional colored vegetables. Although if we're getting technical, peppers are a fruit. Also got some banana peppers. They can also enjoy cabbage leaves. I have pumpkins growing up here, and they are extremely behind for the reasons I mentioned earlier. But when they're ready, if they make it in time, chickens love pumpkins. They're so healthy for them, they can eat the whole thing, seeds and all. So all that rain kind of wrecked the tomato plants. They're all falling apart now because it came down so hard and for so long. And a lot of them split because they took up the water so fast. And that's the risk you take with heirloom tomatoes. They're more prone to cracking and splitting than hybrid tomatoes, but their flavor is so good, so it's kind of worth putting up with it. But these are pretty bad, so we're not going to eat these ourselves, but the chickens will love them. Just make sure you take off the stems and don't get any of the tomato leaves in there because they're actually toxic. They're in the nightshade family, and you don't want your chickens or yourself to eat the greens. These are called green zebra tomatoes. They stay green, hence the name. But a way to tell when they're ripe is they'll get softer to the touch and they'll get a slight yellowish hue on them. If you want to know how to grow all of this garden stuff for next season, make sure you check out my channel because I have videos on how to grow just about all of this. This is a common weed that I just pulled. It's called sour clover, and this is safe for your chickens to eat. However, one weed that I do not recommend feeding is this. It's called the pokeberry, and you can see it's all wilted because I pulled it up. Now, this is toxic. It's poisonous to humans, dogs, and cats. There are some bird species that can eat the pokeberry. They eat the berries and then they poop them back out, and that's why this weed spreads so bad and so fast. So I'm not 100% sure if it's toxic to chickens, but since I know for a fact it's very poisonous to a lot of animals, I'd rather err on the side of caution, and I do not recommend feeding this to your chickens or any of your pets. It's better to be on the safe side. And plus, you don't want more of this spreading anyway. It's a pain. Check out the size of this eggplant that I just picked. But sorry chickens, this one's going to be for my mom. Fun fact about eggplants, they're really, really good for your blood sugar levels, your blood pressure, gut health, brain health, skin health, eye health. Just like the squash and the zucchini I was telling you about earlier, they are loaded with all the good vitamins and minerals that you need. Rich in antioxidants. There's so many easy ways to cook them. But keep in mind, just like the tomato, they're a member of the nightshade family and the greens are toxic. So make sure if you give eggplant to your chicken that you make sure that there are no greens, leaves, stems attached. I'm bringing back some veggies for the chickens and for myself. I think we have a good harvest, but we're not done yet. Let's stop at the raised beds and get a few more things. So here's some arugula. Arugula is one of my favorite things, but this has gotten crazy. It's overgrown, so I'm going to pick it for the chickens. It's best to eat it when it's small and tender because then it's not quite as strong. You can eat it at this size too, of course. But the chickens don't mind the spice, and it's really good for them. And now I can replant more. It's also time for me to harvest my beets, and the chickens will get the beet greens. I think there's a rabbit nest in the beet patch because, look at this. You see anything in there? I don't want to disturb it, so I'm not going to look any further, but my dog keeps hanging out around here and sniffing. So we'll have to be careful, make sure she doesn't get into that. I replanted some different greens, some lettuce, some spinach, some kale. Obviously, they're too tiny to feed to the chickens yet, unless you wanted to do microgreens, but I don't. I want them to get full size. And here's the spinach. The lettuce is another favorite of the chickens. And then here's some kale that's already ready. It's actually looking really good. And I never spray my greens with anything, so we're at the mercy of the bugs, but usually I tend to get lucky. Kale's high in calcium. It's a superfood for you and a superfood for your chickens. Dandelion greens are yet another safe weed for your chickens. Rich in vitamin D, rich in vitamin E, and I think vitamin A. So next time you're pulling weeds out of the garden, don't let them go to waste. Toss them to your chickens and they'll be happy to eat them. All right, let's go serve it to the chickens. Oh, and I almost forgot. They can also have herbs, of course. I talked about this in my other videos. Here is some pineapple peppermint. We'll give them some of this. I have this growing right by their pen to help keep the flies away and the mosquitoes. They can also have oregano. It has a lot of healing properties. It can act in some ways as an antibiotic. It kills bacteria. Very healthy for them. Basil. And of course some rosemary. More sour clover. Oh, and this weed is called a plantain, and it's actually loaded with different health benefits. Very rich in vitamins and minerals, high in fiber. So yes, obviously this is also a safe one to feed. Last but not least, marigolds. These are a great treat for your chickens, and they really help enhance the vibrant, beautiful yolk color that everyone likes. So let's get this all set up for them. Now keep in mind, these are all for treats. This is not a complete diet. Your chickens do need to have access to a layer feed. And I like to give treats in moderation, so I'm not going to give them everything I picked. Like I said, some of it is going to go right into my kitchen. And I'm going to give them watermelon on a later date because I don't want to overfill them on treats right now. But I will include that footage in this video, so you will not miss that. I was weed whacking right before I did this, and my hands are so shaky still from it. They're like, let us in. This will also be a fun foraging activity for them too, since I mixed a bunch of different stuff together. It'll provide nice mental stimulation while they eat healthy things as well. And like I said earlier, when they're eating healthy things, it's going to make their eggs healthier for you. So it's a win for everyone. Last but not least, tomatoes are always a hit with them. Cornflower, the speckled Sussex right there, she is broody, so she was in there sitting on eggs trying to hatch them. So I took her out of here and brought her to the party. Don't want her to miss out. We don't have a rooster, by the way, so there's no way for those eggs to hatch anyway. And always make sure that your chickens have access to grit. That is the little brown stones that you see. It helps them with digestion because they swallow their food whole. So when they swallow the grit, it helps break up the food so they can digest it better. And then the white stone in here is the oyster shell. That's a calcium supplement for laying hens because obviously they're laying eggs, so they're gonna need extra calcium. Fennel's here being nosy. But yeah, I noticed a lot of people get confused between the two, so there, now you know the difference. Poultry at all ages can have grit, but only laying hens need oyster shell. And one last little finishing touch, what would go better with a chicken picnic than some herbal tea for the chickens? So of course we're gonna get our dish of water. They have a huge big rubber bowl of just plain water as well to drink. This is just to be goofy. But I mean, hey, there's health benefits in this too. So we're gonna take some rosemary. Purple basil. Golden oregano. A bit of thyme. And of course, peppermint. It smells really good. I did not use hot water, by the way, because it's very humid out today, and why would I want to make my chickens more hot? Here is your iced tea, minus the ice. What do you think, Snapdragon? Juniper, come join the party. Come on, stop being shy. Chickens can also eat the beet itself, and they can eat carrots and their greens. They love carrot tops. So my boyfriend and I had a summer ween date, and that's basically when you celebrate Halloween for one night during the summer just to have fun. You know, eat candy, have some apple cider, watch a spooky movie. And we carved a watermelon, and the chickens are gonna get it now that we're done with it. Look how beautiful Kiwi is. She's a blue lace red Wyandotte. I just love her colors and her pattern. But anyways, let's see how they did with their little summer wean project. They demolished it. There's nothing left in their mimosa. I think they had a lot of fun. Watermelon is really, really nutritious for them. Filled with potassium, vitamins, minerals, and of course it's great for a hot summer day because it's so hydrating. So yeah, that was just a fun video to show you different things that you can feed your chickens as treats. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it gave you some different ideas of what you can give your chickens. Don't forget to check out my other chicken videos and make sure you subscribe so you can see all the future videos that are going to be coming out.